getting set for the weekend, and thankfully the weather is about to quiet down in a hurry. Your local weather guy is pretty happy about that. It's been a very, very busy, 4 or 5 weeks now, really, since the middle of January. We've paid the price for that very mild start to the season back in December. But yeah, things are about to quiet down. But, last night's ice meant some business in some spots. We were just kind of on the razor's edge last night between very little ice accretion and a sizable amount of ice accretion. A 1 or 2 degree difference really was important last night. It was cold enough in most spots that this water that was falling from the sky had no trouble sticking to elevated surfaces, trees, power lines, that kind of thing. But it had a hard time sticking on a lot of our roads, with some exceptions. But for the most part, we didn't have a tremendous amount of road issues across the region this morning. Now, if it were 2 degrees colder, instead of 31 with freezing rain, if it was 29 with freezing rain, especially at the intensity that rain was coming down at last night, we probably would have had a legit ice storm situation with all sorts of issues for morning commuters today. So thankfully, a degree or two warm for that. Now, if we were another degree or 2 warmer than we actually were, we would not have seen this much ice accretion on tree limbs last night. Thanks to everyone who shared pictures on social media and via email today. I've gotten a lot of submissions, especially on my Facebook page. Thanks to everyone for sending me their icy tree pictures. Jane and Kelly shared these. This is just a small sample, of course, of the pictures that we've gotten in today. And as always, you can follow me on Instagram, EricWFMJ, on Instagram to check out more viewer pictures and a few pictures from my life outside of weather sometimes as well. Official ice accretion reports called into the Weather Service last night. In Vienna, 0.3. It's a little more than 1/4 of an inch. Newton Falls, 0.1. Newcastle, 0.1 as well. Again, this was enough to cause some issues out there. And, in Youngstown, I can query this one real quick. In Youngstown, a report was called in. Let's try that again. Well, that just does not want to stay on there, does it? Tree uprooted across the road, Mill Creek Park, due to the combination of icing and gusty winds. That was in Youngstown last night and into this morning. As you can see, the freezing rain got all the way up to the Lake Erie shoreline last night. Snow was not an issue for Northeast Ohio and Western PA last night. It was all about the icing. All right, green showing up on the radar, but this is, of course, snowflake activity. We have the Lake Erie snow flurry machine kicked on today with less ice on the lake than we had a couple of weeks ago. On Lake Erie, the ice coverage is down closer to 60% now. It was up in the 90 to 95% range a couple of weeks ago. For the Great Lakes as a whole, we're at 49% coverage right now. And as you can see, on the south shore of Lake Erie, we have a fair amount of open water right now. So the difference in that freezing cold water temperature, like 34 degree water temperature, and the air up a couple of thousand feet, which is closer to, say, 0, that's a big enough difference in temperature that we got some bands of lake effect snow flurries and snow showers. I'm not expecting much out of this, but some additional candy coatings, some dustings here and there, maybe a few slick spots in a few places. Something to watch out for as we go through the night tonight. All right, our weekend is going to be a little bit better than today, which was pretty drab. We'll call it a mix of sun and clouds for Saturday. At times, it'll be pretty cloudy. At times, we'll see some sun. Maybe a stray flurry early on Saturday, and then the sky will clear towards evening. We'll get off to a bright and sunny start on Sunday, but this next cold front approaches from the north on Sunday afternoon. Could be a couple of snow showers and flurries with that. Maybe some heavier snow squalls to our east. A couple of hours across parts of New York State, maybe extreme northern Pennsylvania. Something to watch out for Sunday afternoon. And then high pressure builds in and gives us pretty quiet weather early next week. Now, temperatures will struggle on this final weekend of February. 33, the best we can do on Saturday, and then 40 on Sunday. 40 is actually pretty much par for the course during the final couple of days of February, so we'll be closer to average on our Sunday. Now, it looks like a pretty quiet pattern for the next week. This is a look at our computer model spread with the snowfall accumulations for the next 7 days. Barely anything registering on all the models here. I think we'll get a couple of clippers that might bring us some flurries at times next week. No big deal. I think we are in a lull now with a lack of winter storms, major winter storms. Now, I'm not going to rule out another winter storm or two before the season is through. March looks like it'll be a pretty active month with plentiful precipitation. Now, that doesn't mean plentiful snow necessarily, but plentiful precipitation. So rain, snow, everything else. We should not have a dry month in March, that is for sure. Now, temperatures compared to average, some pretty chilly weather Saturday and Monday, and again next Thursday. But then after that, if you've been following my videos lately, you know I've been talking about this warm-up coming during the first weekend of March. Speaking of March, it's the start of meteorological spring next week on Tuesday, March the 1st. The months of March, April, and May comprise meteorological spring. Next week on Weather for Weather Geeks and on my weather blog, ericwfmj.com, I'm going to grade our winter forecast, since that forecast is mostly for meteorological winter, which is ending on Monday. So we're going to review the seasonal forecast, and we're going to do a little spring outlook as well. Seasonal forecasts outside of winter, generally speaking, are a little bit of a more dicey proposition than the winter season, because those big atmospheric drivers such as El Nino and La Nina and things like that, they have less influence on weather patterns in the northern hemisphere in the seasons outside of winter. But we're gonna take a stab at general trends, how much precipitation compared to average, temperatures compared to average for meteorological spring. So look for that on Weather for Weather Geeks next week. In the meantime, thanks for watching tonight and have a great weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday.